Let's take a look at how we can use clarity on a couple of different photographs. Here I'll be working from the folder titled Surfers. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the Develop module. And here you've noticed that I've opened up my histogram. One of the things that's kind of helpful to do is to compare contrast with clarity. Now when I increase my contrast, watch the histogram up top. You notice that I have higher whites and higher blacks. In other words, more white and more black information here. You see the image, we can see that, right? Here is without any contrast or even a little bit of negative contrast. And then here we have with lots of contrast. Blacks become blacker. Double click that triangle to reset it. What about clarity? Well, what's going to happen? Well, it's interesting. If you look at the histogram, it's not doing that much. It's just shifting a lot of these midtones here. Negative clarity, again, it's not doing that much in regards to histogram. Now, visually, a lot's happening. Let's zoom in and take a look. Now, negative clarity here looks horrible. And I've mentioned that too much clarity, either negative or positive, can have really adverse effects. Double click this slider to bring it back to normal. All right, well, how about if we increase this, let's say 10, 20, or 30 points? Well, pretty interesting. Let's look at the before and after. Here's our before and then our after. There's just a little bit more dimension. I'm going to exaggerate this. Not that I would typically do this on the photograph, but I'm going to exaggerate it for demo purposes. Again, our before and after. Again, it feels like there's a little bit more shape in regards to the overall image. Now, if I combine that with contrast, I can come up with a really distinct look, and then maybe go down to my saturation controls. I could desaturate a little bit or add a little bit of vibrance or change the overall color temperature. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is the way you want to process the photograph, but what I am saying is that it gives us this really distinct look. Here's our before and then our after. Again, zooming in a little bit, let's take a look at the clarity before and after. If I double click this slider, here's before and then here is after that. Now in this particular case, I think we went over the top, but hopefully it's starting to show you how you can work with this tool. All right, well I'm going to hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and I'm going to reset my presence. I'm also going to reset my tone. And so I'm going to reset both of those back to normal. In regards to the color temperature or white balance, I'll choose as shot. All right, well now that this image has been normalized, how would I actually work with clarity? Well, in this case, I'm just going to add a handful of points here. And again, I'm thinking about how clarity affects the overall sharpness of the image. I'm going to add a little bit of contrast as well, and then maybe some fill light at the same time. And here we can look at our before and after. Here's before and then after. Subtle, yet significant. Well, let's take a look at one more photograph. Here's another pro surfer here. I'll zoom out. And we can see the image. And I'm going to zoom in so that I can focus in on the face. And one of the things that's going to happen here, because the light is a little bit more smooth versus really direct, when we have these different shadows and highlights, is this is going to illustrate something interesting about clarity. Watch as I increase this. So here is clarity all the way up, and then I'll double click that and take that back down. What you're going to notice is that it's as if there's more shape. The shadows have a little bit more contour, and that's a lot what clarity does. It's really good at working with contour. Again, that's way too strong, so we'd want to increase that somewhere right around there, probably somewhere between 10 or 20 or so. Contrast a little bit, fill light, even exposure. And there are other things we'd want to do with this image as well. Yet this clarity will be an integral step to the overall processing of our files. And again, keep in mind, subtle yet significant. Also keep in mind that the amount of clarity is really contingent upon the lens, upon the light, upon how you want to shoot, and also the style that you want to create when you're going through your post-production workflow.